Creativity means, for me, I can express myself.
Creativity is fundamental, I think, just to who we are as humans. It's the expression of who we are and how we relate to each other.
A creative existence to me gives life so much more meaning.
Well, to start with, I think every single human being has creativity in them. But we've been led to believe that only a few people can or should explore and express it.
What I love about being creative is the fact that every day is different.
I mean, one thing's for sure, it beats working for a living.
I have been a professional musician for almost 40 years.
Artist, illustrator.
Predominantly, I am a writer of theatre. I write screenplays as well.
I'm in a band called Voodoo Bandits.
Filmmaker.
I'm the self-published author.
A recording engineer, mixer.
A scenic artist and designer.
I'm an actor.
Also an illustrator.
You may have seen me in Lord of the Rings.
I'm a performance poet. I'm also a trombonist. Because if you've lived long enough, you'll know seasons shift like falling stars, stuff and blink, and they'll be gone. So I've always been creative. I've been lucky enough to have been a musician since I was 7, and I pursued that path for a long time. I kind of reorientated into writing. I feel very blessed that I have various different outlets for my creativity, and I absolutely love it. I value it. I feel it could be more valued in society. For me personally, it's been hugely beneficial for my well-being.
So we have art therapy, where you create something together and talk through that therapeutically. Also, a lot of the people that we see can be quite young, so a lot of them are used to the direct talking service, so they can do whatever they like to try to represent how they feel, drawing, talking, making, so different ways in which people can express themselves as well.
Our lesson was set up to look after well-being. We find that it's a very important part of the work that we do, that if every young person, indeed every person, can find the creative outlet, it helps us to get so much more enjoyment and satisfaction out of everything that we do in life.
More time to love, to learn, to laugh, to live, to leave our small, small print on big, old Earth.
I'm very lucky to have this place to work in my studio, and that's where I compose from home. It means that I can be with my family and also continue to work as a musician, essentially.
So we contacted different artists and said we'd be interested in helping. And the response I got has been fantastic from the artists. You know, I'm so overwhelmed. I was asked to paint 27 paper carrier bags. So all the artists that's come together, all the people have come together, and it shows you that in life, you don't always need money. It's friendship, community.
One of the work streams I work on is called Creative Industries, and the other one is called Social Inclusion. And this project spans both, really. So it's about looking at how can we be socially inclusive through creativity.
We were having a swim and it happened to be St Andrew's Day. So I said, well, tell you what, shall I bring my pipes down?
Lots of us have noticed well-being benefits from the swimming. So that could be physical in terms of anti-inflammatory, feeling less aches in the joints, but also a real sense of joy and clearing of the mind.
One of the main things that inspires me is certainly the sea. And without this group that I swim with, I wouldn't have swam through the whole winter. And it inspires you to create, to laugh, to joke, sometimes to cry even. So without this sea, without the shore and the Isle of Man, I couldn't do my paintings.
I think that creativity is really important in any area, in any town. I think life would be extremely boring if we had bland, bland buildings, we had a bland outlook and no culture, no life. What we need is those creative industries to come here to add that extra sparkle to our environment.
These shelters are perfect public art as far as I'm concerned. Whenever I've travelled the world, I've seen public art all around the place. It brings streets to life, it creates a great tourist attraction, it creates great wealth in what would normally be blank walls for people of the town that they live in to see. When you walked along the promenade before these shelters came about, they were just blank shelters. There's nothing wrong with them, they're very practical. So we set about this project a couple of years ago to get local creative artists to come and envision what they saw based on themes of Ramsey or sea life and Manx culture and history. And so we have 5 beautiful shelters painted on the North Prom now. As you can see, this is 12th century African queen of the Celtic nations. It's a great vision by the artists here, but each one has a very different take on things, and they've really enlivened and brought beauty to what would otherwise just be a very practical promenade.
And public art is for the public, isn't it? You know, people take ownership of their space, and if their space is exciting, engaging, and it makes them feel better about being there, then they're going to take care of the place, feel more connected to their environment. I think it's really exciting.
We moved from Onchan to Ramsey about 5 years ago, and we bought this amazing building here. It was perfect for what we needed. David's a composer and musician and needed space to have his own music studio. And we soon realised what a busy junction it is and what an entrance it is to the high street for so many people. And we thought what a great canvas it would be for the community.
My name's Michelle. I'm Chloe. And together we are the co-creators of Hello Little People, which is a children's theatre company, and we produce new work that is filled with music, movement and laughter.
Yeah, we came back to the Isle of Man at the start of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Been around the world in 18 months and I haven't stopped for a break, not once. I love people, but the people hate me. Nobody wants me at their party.
While the rest of the world was in lockdown, we were able to create our very own theatre company. So we're really inspired by the world around us, by the Manx heritage, culture, nature around us.
Yeah, and we just saw the opportunity to be able to bring professional children's theatre to the Isle of Man, which is something that has never really been done before. And so it was an amazing opportunity, while essentially we were all trapped on this island, to share the wonderful nature of children's theatre.
I think that it is a very exciting place to live, and it definitely has a huge amount of creative people living here.
And I think it takes it back to what you're talking about, younger people. Yeah. Showing young people, artists in their natural settings, that this is a valuable profession. It professionalises it. Art quite often is seen as a less than profession, and it's not. Without artists, we wouldn't have cars, we wouldn't have clothes, we would have nothing.
So here at the Fanagerie Distillery, our logo, our bottle labels, our branding is all very much based on artwork. The art has been created by Julia, and it's an integral part of our product and our branding.
Just so much fun to be able to be let loose on a label and just create these interwoven stories, and hopefully take that out into the wider world, and literally to really promote the Isle of Man and how special it is.
Beauty. I love putting beauty on people's walls, and if you see something beautiful and you look at it and it makes you feel better, it's like putting good energy into the world. That's what I like to think. So when I paint, I like to try and paint from a calm place, a happy place, so that energy almost comes out of the painting. And I get that response from people that they find joy in my work. It makes them smile, maybe brings them peace. And that's one element of the value. The other element, it's the culture of the Isle of Man. It's the visual language of the island being sent around the world, like the stamps, it's going around the world.
On a shelf in a junk shop, a horse made of wood was damaged and broken, and all day he stood.
When I completed my Masters, unfortunately it was in the middle of COVID, but I wrote 2 children's books, one of which has now been printed, being supported by the Isle of Man Arts Council, and that's going to be exhibited with a big book exhibition. I think a lot of people are drawn to the Isle of Man, especially creatives, because of the sheer beauty of the island and the diverse range of scenery. It's incredibly inspiring, and especially obviously living near the sea.
So happy was he to be back in his home that never again did he ramble or roam.
My name's Slaith Quellen. I'm currently on my 3rd year of writing for performance at the Royal Central School of Speech and Drama in London. Predominantly, I am a writer of theatre. I write screenplays as well, monologues and poetry, like the ones exhibited here. But I also work in acting and performance art, do quite a bit of that, and I do practice readings as well. A lot of my inspiration comes from the outdoors, and that's what we have a massive expanse of here. We're very, very lucky to have a very protected, biodiverse landscape all around us that we can easily access. And that's been the grounding for a lot of what I write. Very nature-inspired.
We sell books, art and music, so we have a really strong connection with the creative industry on the Isle of Man and a really good network of customers. We all support each other here, and we are also the partner bookseller for Manx Lit Fest with its 10th festival. The Isle of Man is truly a unique place to be if you are a creative. In the centre of the British Isles, we have an absolutely vibrant community of artists and writers and musicians. We are so very fortunate.
So within my job, my bread and butter work is recording bands and getting people to write songs and getting them recorded. But following on from that, there's then people need record sleeves designed, they need social media marketing, they need maybe posters designed, they need to play live, so they may need sound engineers, they need merchandise, you know, t-shirts, stickers, all these things. That's just within music, you know. Bands make videos as well, pop videos.
The best thing I think to come from being in a small island is the opportunity to play with bigger artists when they roll through. You have a much better chance of being able to play with, I don't know, like Nile Rodgers and Chic like we did, or Two Door Cinema Club and McFly when they are rolling through, because you get to prove yourself on this one island. And I think the island, for our band, has encouraged a massive DIY ethos, because there might not be too many venues and stuff for what we do, but we make do and we make best with what we've got, and we put on shows, and there's the people that do want to work with us are amazing.
Main benefits of working in the creative sector would be I get to do something that I enjoy doing every day. I think that I'm a creative person, so being able to create things is something that just gets me up out of bed every day, and yeah, it's just a lot of fun.
We have real talent and real skills on the island. We have writers, we have comic book artists, we have a lot of illustrators. We are beginning to get a core of people who are technically trained in filmmaking.
You're hearing footsteps, and you're scared, okay? And that's directing. And now I'm going to pretend I'm hearing footsteps, and then I'm scared. And that's acting.
I don't know why I find it so hard to write about you.
I got into the filmmaking side of things through university. I studied media, film and TV. It wasn't actually something I'd considered before. I thought I'm gonna go be an actor on the big stage, silver screen, all that. But plans changed and that's what I studied at uni. And then in terms of like directing, that's fun. It's very, very fulfilling, but it's a lot of pressure, stress, but the payoff is massive.
Film on the Isle of Man is a natural. We are one of the most beautiful places in Europe. There is a magic here. We have castles, we have glens, we have vales, we have hilltops. We can cover an enormous range of times and locations. But there is a Celtic center here that is pretty timeless, and it will resonate with filmmakers, I think, throughout the world.
I've always wanted to work in the creative industries, and to be able to have a career in it here in the Isle of Man has meant an awful lot to me.
Days turned into weeks and weeks formed months. William was a man with little courage, but it grew fertile in Nancy's presence until one day.
It does so much for your well-being, creativity and even technical skills that you learn. There's so many different aspects, certainly of filmmaking, that you need transferable skills for, and it's applicable to all sorts of walks of life. And even if you've never done anything creative before, you could always find yourself working in the creative industries.
An important part of our work is to work with creators in the community, and we have invested over the years in new albums by lots of Manx artists. We've commissioned works for all sorts of instruments and for publication, and we've created opportunities and built confidence, I think, in creators on the Isle of Man. We invest in the artists and performers in the Isle of Man, and hopefully that does contribute to the wider economy and takes them further in their careers.
She knew she couldn't stop the storm. She was a wise woman.
Having real support for creative endeavours is super important. I mean, I didn't know anything about the kind of financial support that you can get through people like the Arts Council and Culture Vannin until last year. So, you know, I've gone a long way without that kind of support. But now that I've explored that, it's vital, especially the last couple of years for somebody like me whose normal way of working has not been possible. They have turned out to be a lifeline.
I mean, I wouldn't be able to do what I do and make stuff without the bursary that I was given, the Norman Sale Award by the Arts Council. That's allowed me to live in London where I study. It's also gone towards the purchasing of my equipment that I've used, and again, just the fact they've helped me push my poems.
The first film we made over here after we graduated from university was an adaptation of a local Manx fairy tale called The Lost Wife of Ballalise, which we turned into a 15-minute fiction short, which was funded by Arts Council and Culture Vannin. We used lots of local crew on that shoot, and it also screened last year at the Isle of Man Film Festival, so it was really great to show the community that film as well, and then it has placed in lots of international film festivals as well.
Цікаві, як для мене, бо в нас трошки інша культура, трошки інші якісь звичаї, і мені це цікаво дуже.
I've noticed that here we have so many people who do so many wonderful things in terms of creativity, and it's interesting to see the variety of creative approaches that, for example, in Ukraine we have a different culture, so our approaches are different, and here there's so much inspiration that I can draw on.
Or maybe end up making do.
I just knew that I wanted to sing. Just go for your dreams. go for the impossible, because if you don't, then you'll regret it, I think. Encourage everybody around you. The more people that you can get enthusiastic about being creative, the better the world is.
Celebrating creativity together.
Celebrating creativity together.
Whatever passion drives us forward in the way of creativity, we find out who we are.
Celebrating creativity together.
So the impact that creativity can have on everyone throughout the whole of the community, it can bring communities together. It's a major influence in improving well-being physically and mentally. Without creativity in the arts and supporting the creative industries, you know, society essentially becomes black and white. It becomes something that is not interesting, that we don't want to invest in.
Celebrating creativity together.
Okay, what would I say to someone who's interested in getting involved in the creative industries? I would say, do it.
Well, it's just amazing when we see all the energy coming together. There are so many incredible creative people in the Isle of Man.
Celebrating creativity together.
Celebrating creativity together.
A creative existence to me gives life so much more meaning. I think having Voodoo Bandits is something that gives my life and everybody in the band's life something to really strive for and work for. And I absolutely love it, and I'd recommend, if music's not for you, it could be anything, to find something in life that gives you something like that, and it can be casual and you can take it serious, but it's really good for your well-being.
Святкуємо креативність разом. Celebrating creativity together.
Jinu Erdalia J. Kruta Grapelia.
Celebrating creativity together.
Celebrating creativity together.
Celebrating creativity together in the Isle of Man. Ha ha!